This is going to be the most authentic dropshipping guide you'll see on YouTube. I've done $200,000 in sales so far this year, which was all documented on my main channel, by the way. Not to mention all my previous dropshipping stores in the past. When I wasn't making money dropshipping back then, I thought there was some super secret magic trick that all the gurus knew that I didn't. And the truth is, they kinda do. Well, several things. In this video, I'm going to walk through exactly how you can start dropshipping in 2025 tailored for you in your situation, but also how I've done it so that you can go from $0 to $10,000 a month in no time. With that said, let's dive in. First of all, you need to understand your situation for what kind of dropshipping you can do. The thing is, if you don't have at least $1,000 cash, you will not be able to do the kind of dropshipping that I do, which is Facebook ads. Technically, I call it branded dropshipping. Branded dropshipping doesn't mean that you pre-order inventory or anything like that, at least in my terms. Branded dropshipping just means that you're doing a brand, you're trying to run this brand, like you're running one brand. You could do several, obviously, as time goes on, but you're running one brand, and you're really building out this business. You're not switching products, you're not doing this or that, you're just building a brand around one product, one hero product, and you're going to focus on that product. You're going to find a winning ad angle through a lot of trial and error. And the only way to get through a lot of trial and error is to burn a lot of cash. And you're going to need some money. You're going to get some money back. You're definitely going to get some sales, but you are going to be down some money. On my recent dropshipping challenge, that is this store right now that's done $200,000, it actually went as low, my bank account for this store went as low as negative $1,400. And obviously I was able to climb out of that, and now there's lots of profit. There's been a lot of money flowing in and out of there with spending over $117,000 in Facebook ads. So you need to have cash. Now, if you don't have cash, that's okay. There's still another way to get into the dropshipping. You need like $25 really. That's all you need. And you just need a phone. You need preferably an iPhone, honestly. Samsung just does not do well with TikTok, and you're gonna do TikTok slash Instagram dropshipping. Now, this is not my expertise field, so I'm not going to try to speak on something that I don't know too much about. I've done this before in the past. It's pretty difficult, but if you can make really good videos here, you can take that knowledge over to Facebook ads and build a more consistent brand over time. Now, there's some crazy methods on TikTok and Instagram. You can build out teams, you can build out clippers, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I think you could do that, so 100%. But at that point, you might as well just do a Facebook brand and just have clippers working for you there, and you get some free traffic along with your paid ads. You could just build a one big brand. I don't know, that's me, but yeah, if you're doing organic dropshipping, this is best for you. So if you don't have a lot of money, you don't have any money coming in, you don't have a job, you're not willing to lose $1,000 cash, you're going to want to do organic dropshipping. And if you are, you're going to want to click on this video, because that's not what I do. And I don't think that's the best way to really build a sustainable business that you can sell. When you're doing brand dropshipping, you can actually sell this business. You're not going to get a crazy multiple like softwares or anything, but you can definitely exit the business after a while, after you've gotten some substantial revenue, you've gotten profits, you've been in business for a bit, you have a brand, you have followers, you have customers, you have content, you have potentially subscription, you have revenue, recurring revenue. You're tapped into several markets. You have a lot of systems. There's many things to play into selling a business, but that's the power of doing a branded store, and that's why I'm doing branded dropshipping. So this is the way that I like to do it. This is the way that a lot of the top guys are doing. They're not doing TikTok, Instagram. But if you need cash, you need to be able to get cash to do this kind of dropshipping. You're going to want to do organic. Moving along. How to find a winning product that gets sales. This is very crucial. There's several criteria that you need. But first, how do you find this product? Many people just use Kalo data. I like to use Facebook ad library. I like to look for products, by the way, that have a couple sellers. So they're going to have maybe one seller that's doing like 100K plus, another that's doing like 50K, another that's like 25K. You can tell by kind of the visitors and the amount of ads they're running. If they're running like 100 ads, they're doing pretty decent. If they're running 700 ads, that are like $1 million a month a brand. If they've got like 20 ads, they could be doing like 50K a month as well, because I don't run that many ads. I just spend a lot on a few, and it does pretty well. So you can't always tell, but you could see like if the ads have been running for a long time, they're making some money off of that. So I like Facebook ad library. There's Facebook tools. There's Minea. There's all kinds of stuff you can use to find products. There's even just like Pinterest you can use. Google. There's a lot of different methods to find products. I don't think there's one necessarily best way. Of course, scrolling for ads, scrolling method scrolling Facebook/IG method. It's the same thing as kind of like TikTok. How organic dropshippers, they will scroll TikTok/IG for organic. You can do this as well and take some of these products over to paid ads. The issue is a lot of these organic products are not going to be sustainable to sell on Facebook branded dropshipping. So keep that in mind. But to find a winning product, that's what you're going to do. The thing is, the problem is people get a little bit lost on how to actually pick a product or what to look for when finding winning products. So I'm going to reveal that right here. First of all, it needs to be evergreen. When you're trying to do branded dropshipping, you can't really do a product that's only going to sell in the summer. It's going to be pretty tough. Seasonal sales not going to work. If there's a way you can create an angle that it can sell year-round, then go for it. Maybe potentially some competitors have not done that. So evergreen, not sold in stores. These are going to sound maybe cliche, but they are very important. Not sold in stores. I've tried that before. It's not fun. You get comments. You get saying, "Oh, I bought this in my local Walmart. I'm smarter than you." So there are those people. You don't want to deal with those people. They're not going to buy from you. It's just annoying. That's a big one. And the next one is emotional tie. If you can get people to be emotional about your product, there's a Discord that I'm in that I pay $200 a month for. His brand is called Pup Ring, and he sells necklaces to both male and females that want to have their pets, specifically dogs most of the time, but engraved on necklaces. That's a very, very emotional thing. People have great relationships with their dogs, and if a loved one, meaning the dog, has passed away, or they're in a tough spot, or they love their dog so much they want to cherish the joyous moments, they can get a little ring for their dog. They can even get a ring for the dog, not just for themselves, or they could get it it's a great gift, right? So there's a lot of great stuff. There's an emotional tie there, though. That is something I really like to look for. The next thing I'm looking at is being a problem solver. If it can solve a problem of some kind, you're going to be able to make money. Like, products naturally need to solve problems, I feel like. Like, if you're looking to buy a course, let's just say, or some sort of info product, there's a reason you're buying that. It is a problem-solving product in the sense that course, that coaching program, that college class, whatever it may be, the problem is you don't have enough information. That class, that coach, that course is going to give you that information, solving a problem. In this case, with the Pup Ring example, it's kind of a problem solver. It's not necessarily like an absolutely necessary product, so there is that, but there's such a strong emotional tie that there's such an emotionally strong tie that it works out. Now, it does solve a problem in the sense you might not be able to cherish or remember your pet forever, and this is a great way to do it in a physical form versus just like photos and videos on your phone. So there is that. There's different ways to look at it, but the next thing is high AOV. I'm talking at least $50, ideally like 75, around 70, 75. If you're getting to like 100 or on 150, there we go. That's where you're really, rev maxing and stuff, and you're profit maxing as well. So those are the things that I'm looking for when I'm looking at these different platforms like Halo Data, Facebook Ad Library. Obviously, for like Halo Data, there's some specific things that I look for. I'm not looking for things that are being, that's number one on the page, because that's going to be really hard to do. It's not low-hanging fruit. When you're getting into drop shipping and you want to start getting sales, you're looking for low-hanging fruit, meaning you can take something, you can rip something, you can use something that is not super saturated, but there are sellers that's proven. You take what's proven and you can just move it to a different avatar. You can move it to a different market. You can do some different things that have not been done just yet, and then you can make a lot of money off of that. So moving along, how to make a Shopify store that converts. So I'm not going to go into insane detail here, but there's a few principles, few elements that you need. First of all, you need to build trust in brand. All right, that is huge. We're going to also focus on the emotional ties. We're going to continue that from the creative. All right, so through this product page, we're going to focus on trust, building an emotional tie, and then also avatars. So pain points / avatars in your copy, in your product photos, everywhere. You want to have a general avatar. as you get better and better at marketing and running ads and stuff, you're going to go very specific. But in the beginning, you don't need to necessarily do that. You can be pretty specific about the person that you're going to be targeting, and you're going to look at their different pain points. You're going to show what are like the 3 biggest pain points that the general, somewhat specific avatar is for your product. Okay, and you're going to use that copy over and over again with your product page. You're going to hammer on all those pain points. You're going to take down objections. You're going to do all kinds of stuff with the different sections that Shopify gives you, the different themes give you. You just want to show different ways to overcome those objections. So an example could be an us versus them. Let me just write this out. Us versus them. So that's basically like our product, right? Why my product right here is so good. Check mark versus the competition, which is potentially an alternative product. It could be a procedure that's done by like a doctor, for example, or it could just be another competitor's product that's slightly different. Building off of what I was saying about building trust and brand, you're going to use reviews, you're going to use testimonials, and you're going to bring in these avatars, in these emotional ties, in these pain points. You're going to be specific, and that's how you're going to create more trust in the brand. You're going to use those reviews and testimonials, like I said. The us versus them, the percentages, 95% of people said they love this product, 95% of people said this hydrated their skin, 95% of people said this helped me break the glass window that I was trying to break. Elements like that is what will help you convert. And this third one is very, very crucial. It is so important. A timeline of results. This is something I don't see a lot of beginner stores have. They don't have this. The thing is, when you're selling to somebody, if they have a problem, They need this result, right? They need results. Your product is the bridge to get them those results. Right? So they have the problem. They need to get to the results. Okay, well, to get that, they got to go through the product. Now you got to convince them that this is the correct bridge to get that result for their problem. Now, the question is your product going to be able to get them those results right here in a fast time frame? Can they do it in 30 days? And is that faster than the competition? Is that better than traditional methods like the doctors say, or this or that, right? This bridge, is this the best bridge? Is this the freaking Golden Gate, or is this, I don't even know what, a lame bridge? Just a lame, cement, boring bridge. Is it the Golden Gate, or is it, something stupid? So that's why it's very, very crucial that you focus on the timeline, right? People need to know exactly when they're going to use those. That's all they care. They care about, I had this problem. You maybe if you're running an underwear ad, meaning they don't know they have a problem. But if you're able to convince somebody they have a problem, they're like, okay, oh my gosh, I had this problem. Now what? Okay, well, here's this product, and here's how you're going to get those results by using our product in this specific time frame. Okay, I'm going to get clear skin in 7 days, and my acne is going to be gone. My scars are going to be gone. My tattoos are going to be removed. Yeah, obviously, these promises need to be able to be backed up. So your product has to be good. If you have a bad product, it's going to be pretty tough. So the products need to be solid that you're selling. You can make all the marketing claims you want, but you're going to get all the chargebacks, and you're not actually going to end up making any money. Our goal, though, as a marketer, which is generally what we're doing here, we're not in the product business. We're kind of in the marketing business in most senses. You're wearing several hats, but in general, you're usually being a marketer, assuming your product is good. And you just have to convince the customer, the consumer right up here, that this is the best way to go from here to here. Now, like I said, the time frame is essential. The next thing, you need to have an offer that makes sense for the customer. If they're trying to solve a problem, right, and they want these results right here, what offer would entice them the most? Is it going to be just a simple sale, right? That's not really an offer per se, but it's a 50% off. Okay, is that going to work? It also depends on the competition. Is the competitor running 50% off? Are you going to do the exact same thing? Is it going to work? Probably not, because they have market share. You're gonna have to outcompete them, and to do that, you could do a buy one get one, if that makes sense for the products, right? You could do buy one get one free. You could do buy one for $30, and you could do buy two for $45. That's clearly a better deal, and you're gonna get more people to take the 45. You could even have that pre-selected. If you're gonna have people buy multiple, it needs to make sense for them to buy multiple. This works great for consumable products where you can really do all kinds of bundle discounts and quantity breaks, all that kind of stuff. You could also offer a gift, right? This gift needs to be a product that they would want, that would help solve their problem, right? That would help them get more results. So a gift, that's what that's going to do. You could do a kit where it's not just a gift, it's several gifts, essentially. And that's really going to help them get the results. It's going to give them the solution to their problem, potentially even a greater problem. It expands upon their main problem. And so their problems, right? Their main problem is like this, and then with your extra products, you solve this problem. They're going to be much happier because you solved that, right? You didn't just solve this problem. You solved, okay, my acne scars are gone. My acne's gone. My skin is perfectly clear. But all you did was promise on the acne scars. Well, now your entire face is fixed. Great things, right? And that's from doing a kit. So there's all kinds of offers, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, but that's what you need to do, depending on what the competition is, depending on the market sophistication level. There's a lot that goes into this, but this is all not that complicated. You just have to kind of take a look at what, like I said, the competition is doing, what makes the most sense, think logically, use ChatGPT a little bit, and go from there. Now, the next thing is going to be how you're going to make converting ads. And I'm going to give you a winning framework. We're going to keep this very simple. The goal in an ad is to get a click with the right expectation that your product is going to deliver them results for their problem. So, in the ads, you're going to introduce pain point. Pain point for target audience. This is huge, right? Then, what's the solution? Solution is your product. And your product solves XYZ pain point / problem in XYZ time frame, right? These are the things that people care about the most. They care about this being solved as fast as possible. Okay? The next thing is you're going to bring it back to that pain point briefly, and you're going to have a CTA. You're going to say, like, you can get at this, but if you don't, right, you're going to still be stuck in pain. Now, if you want to be out of that pain, buy now. 50% off, today only. Buy one, get one. If you buy two, you get two. You know, if you buy two, you get a free gift. If you buy two, you get a free gift card. There's lots of great stuff. This is going to be a winning framework. There's many ways to go about this. This is a basic winning framework, though, that will continue to work forever. There's other frameworks that you can do, but this is a very simple one. And if you can introduce a pain point, like I said, for a target, a specific audience, they're like, okay, yeah, I resonate with that. Now, what's the solution to this problem? Here's the bridge right here. Here's the product. This is the bridge. And it's going to solve that problem. How? You could do a little bit of how. People don't really care how. They just care about how fast and when. That's usually how you can do it. You can do a little bit of how, meaning benefits, a little bit of like, oh, it has, red light technology. It has 650 nanolights of this, or if it's like a toothbrush, it spins it, 6,000 times a second. That's cool. But does it actually clean my teeth? Does it actually, fix my skin with this red light? That's what people care about. They don't necessarily care about the benefits. They care about the how. And getting the click here with the right expectations of, okay, this product should do this. Now you're going to do any final convincing. You're going to get over any other objections in the product page. And that's where you're going to build as much trust as possible. You're going to sow social proof. You're going to feed off of the emotions that you maybe brought up here in these ads. And that's how you make winning ad creatives. Moving along, how do you scale? This is something that I never understood for a while. I was like, okay, I made some sales. Now what? Well, the thing is, you have to be profitable. If you're not profitable, you're not scaling. So profit means scale. Okay, but how much profit? Well, ideally, 10% plus margins. If you're not doing 10% margins plus, like net, let me write that down because that's important to remember. It's going to be really hard to scale. You need to be at minimum. You want to be doing like 15 plus, to be honest. But if you have several profitable days in the beginning at like 50 a day ad spend, all right, let's just write this down, 50 a day, 100 a day, you're just going to keep scaling. So what I like to do is just 20% every day that I'm profitable. And if not, just chill. And if it's the CPA for the entire campaign is bad, all right, we're going to decrease 20% until stabilization. So this is a very simple framework to run these ads. You just scale 20%. And the way I do ads, by the way, before I forget, is just one CBO. There's no separate testing, scaling campaigns, just one CBO, Advantage Plus shopping campaign. And we're going to run ad sets. This is how I do it. You can do it a little bit different if you would like. I like to run ad sets that are flexible ad sets with like 1 to 3 ads in them. And initially, I'm starting tests at about $50 a day. This does depend on if the product price is a little bit higher, right? If my target CPA is 50, that's fine. If it's above 50, it's going to be a little bit tough. So I'd try to go at $75 a day then. I mean, the more you spend, nowadays I start tests at like at least 75, if not 100, just because I'm trying to get as much data as possible, as fast as possible. And that's how I like to do it. But initially, I was 100% doing $50 a day. And when your ad account, when you're first starting on Facebook, you're gonna have your ad account restrict you to $50 a day for at least like 3, 4, 5, sometimes even a week, and 3, 4, 5 days. I mean, and then a week. And yeah, so you're gonna be stuck $50 a day no matter what. But when you are launching products after that, maybe you've already run some Facebook ads. Yeah, you're gonna be at 75 a day. Potentially, and maybe even 100 if you have the cash for all that. And if your product is like, $100, sell it, your target CPA is like 70, which is a lot for the $100 product, but let's just say it was, well, you would be fine to run it at $75 a day. You're just trying to make sure that you can give yourself at least one sale a day. If you can get yourself one sale a day, you'd be chilling. Then you can scale, you can double budgets initially, and then you can start going to that 20% every day. And then you can go 20% every day until you're in the thousands. Then you can just start doubling budgets or add $500, add $250, whatever. But in the beginning, in that like $100 to $1,000 range, I like to do 20% every day. That's how I like to do it. So, and it adds up pretty quick. Like it takes like 10 days to get to like $1,000. It's pretty consistent. So that's that method. And to scale even further, you can launch side products. You can do other stuff. Of course, on your product page, and when you're making a store that converts, you're gonna want to have some upsells. You're gonna want to have some post-purchase upsells. You're gonna want to have some shipping protection. There's different things you can do to get a higher AOV, so you can spend more to acquire a customer. If you can spend more money than somebody else to acquire a customer, that can also be having a subscription on the back end. Okay, you can almost be negative. You can be break even on the front end, but if you're going to make more money off of that customer, you can rev max off one customer. Now you're going to be making profit on the back end, and you can spend more to acquire a customer than a competitor. And when you can do that, you're going to win. Facebook is about who spends the most money to get a customer. And I mean, who can do it the best, obviously, to get purchases for the least amount of money. But somebody who spends $10,000 a month versus somebody who spends $100 a month, the winner is going to be the $10,000 a month person every time. That's why when people rip my ads, I've seen my ads be ripped. They might be running for like 3 days max because people their numbers suck and they're not going to get sales. They're just not, because I spend a couple $1,000s a day on ads. You're not going to be able to outspend me on that. And if you do, well, you're going to have to run a lot of different creatives. You can't run rip creatives, the exact same creatives of another brand. So that's why people take a lot of creatives from Kalo data from TikTok and move them over to Facebook, because you can get away with a lot of that stuff. But that's besides the point. Now, if you want to learn more about branding and dropshipping and about some more specifics in how to scale, how to make converting ads, how to convert 5 to 10% on Shopify stores, and how to find winning products and what to look for, how to make better ads, all that kind of stuff, I have videos here on the channel going over every single different topic. And also, there is the Ecom Syndicate, which is my paid Discord that I do coaching calls in. I do one-on-one coaching a little bit in, and there's some videos in there as well that expound in very good detail into what I'm talking about here, even more so than my YouTube videos. So, and there's also tools, resources, all kinds of great stuff that's going to help you go from 0 to 10K a month a lot faster than just watching my YouTube videos. You're going to learn a lot from my YouTube videos, but you're going to learn even more inside of the Ecom Syndicate. So if you want to join that, there's a link in the description. With that said, though, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you next Saturday. Peace.